This talk is brought to you by the Bamberg Mathematical Consciousness Science Initiative.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Tomko, and I want to introduce to you today the so-called windows of consciousness hypothesis that may explain the current inability to establish brain-computer interface-based communication in complete locked-in patients. Up front, the complete locked-in state or complete locked-in syndrome is the end stage of a disease history with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, at which any voluntary motor control and therefore communication is lost. At this stage, principally, BCI could be a viable option for communication. However, and nonetheless, to date, no reliable non-invasive BCI-based communication has been established. And importantly, even before entering the complete locked-in state, we already see substantial variance in BCI performance in ALS patients. And to account for this variance and the apparent BCI inefficiency in complete locked-in patients, Andrea Kübler suggested that fluctuations in conscious awareness, which she refers to as windows of consciousness, may able to explain this inability. And indeed, two recent publications show substantial variance in neural correlates or neural markers of consciousness that point to the existence of these windows of consciousness. In an attempt to find neural correlates for these windows of consciousness, we recently investigated brain-computer interface performance in dependence of two neural markers of consciousness in both a locked-in patient and healthy controls in resting state activity. And we found that in both cases, these neural correlates were related to the BCI performance. However, and this is what we see, they show opposite directionalities. And to interpret these opposing findings, and because our measures are referred to as criticality-related markers, we turn to the so-called brain criticality hypothesis. And the brain criticality hypothesis states that both cognitive performance and consciousness is related to the proximity to the critical point. And as soon as we assume that locked-in ALS patients reside in a supercritical regime instead of a normally seen subcritical regime for healthy participants, both groups increase their BCI performance with resting state brain activity closer to the critical point. And this idea for supercritical brain activity in ALS is not just a hypothesis, but different lines of evidence point to it. And we were just like weeks ago able to replicate these findings. I don't show it here in a bigger group. And if this overall pattern transfers to our complete locked-in patients, we may have found a possibility to constantly overwatch these patients and to see if potential windows of consciousness have opened that may allow us to enable BCI-based communications in these patients.